happy Friday, because that's when I'm doing this. But so today I'm going to be doing a video on living in a condo, just kind of the pros and cons. I'm sure you can hear my dog's tags in the background. I'm gonna do the pros and cons of just living in a condo, and if there's like stuff that can kind of go either way. So I think I'm just gonna kind of like go back and forth. We'll see how this goes. But one of the first pros that I guess come to mind is heating, cooling costs. So I live in, granted there's a few different ones just even in our complex here, but with this one I live in like I think it's 4, and I'm in the center. So that alone, just you're in between 2 houses in the winter and summer, so if they have their air on or they have their heat on, I'm obviously not paying as much. I think that's one, just in comparison to like my stepmom's bills, where granted she has a bigger house, but it's also just like it's an actual house and it's significantly more. So that's something I think is awesome, that it's a lot cheaper in that regards. I guess kind of going on that, you don't have certain bills. So you don't have to pay for, at least here, you don't have to pay for waste, so like trash and recycling, they just come by on their normal days, where I know you have to pay for that elsewhere. And then water, I don't have to pay a water bill here, which is super nice. I don't really know how much water costs. I know certain areas are a lot more expensive than others, but I don't know really what water costs because I've never had to pay it. So there's no water bills here either. So I guess another pro is there's no lawn care here. Like, I've never mowed a lawn in my life. I wouldn't even know what to do with a mower if the time came. There's no lawn care that we have to do. We have to do some of like the gardening and stuff. Pretty small, like where you get to do it. With that being said, if you are a gardener, a big pro is like here you can't grow any type of gardening stuff, so like fruits, vegetables, that kind of stuff we are not allowed to grow here, which we've tried to do like strawberries and stuff, and we've gotten letters and stuff like that, so threatening to fine us and stuff. So we can't grow any type of garden stuff here. So if that's like a thing to you, then steer clear. But another pro is like external house care. So siding, roofing, windows, driveways, sidewalks. I think that's everything. I might be leaving a couple things out, but all of that stuff is included in our HOA fees. So I never have, like, my roof got replaced a few years ago and I didn't have to pay anything for it or like extra or anything. So it's just really not a concern for me. I will say we have to do like internal stuff. So like when my heater stopped working, I had to pay for that, which sucked, but it wasn't as bad as I thought, where I know a roof is like $10,000 plus. So that's a little bit more excessive. But all of that stuff is taken care of by the association, so it's cool that we don't have to do it. Snow plowing, we don't have to like do any type, we really don't even have to shovel our driveway. They have people that do it for us. Whether they get to that or not before we actually need it done is a different thing. But you don't have to do any of the snow plowing here. Like the roads and driveways will be done for us, which is super cool. Kind of going on the flip side of that, you can't pick the companies that they contract. So we have a company and they kind of do a not so awesome job year after year, but it's okay because I guess it kind of gets done. So my road, it's typically the shittiest road in the condo area, and it just doesn't get plowed properly. Typically by the time Dalton and I have like gone to work and come home, the driveway still isn't shoveled, so he has to do it a lot. They normally don't get to it unless it's like the next day or if they have extra people working. You can't pick the companies that they contract. You can complain, but it really doesn't get you anywhere. So I would say that's like a big downside. It's not always like the best, and same with lawn care. This year they've been doing okay so far, but in years past, there are shrubs that the condominium, there are shrubs that the condo has put in, and if you have those and decide not to take them out, the lawn care company will keep up on like the bushes. However, it's never like a strict, like it cannot be this. It's normally like, it's bad. It looks like somebody was hammered and didn't know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure I, who've never done anything like that, could do a better job because it's a straight freaking line and they can't. Like, they have done a very piss poor job a lot of times. So that sucks to those people that have it. Like, there's one that's a few doors down and they did an absolute awful job. And then they've done my direct neighbors on accident and they literally took his bushes down to nubs. So if that's something that like truly bothers you and that you can't really have control over that, that's like a big negative for just like yard stuff, which I don't know a lot about, but that's my knowledge on it anyway. So another, I guess, con would be like HOA fees. So HOA fees are, granted, they go to the roofs and the plowing and like all that stuff, but it's like an extra bill every month. And granted, you might be paying that in water or waste or lawn care. I just hit my dog with her ball. Whoops. But it's still just like, with the lack of control that you have, you literally just, there's so many people in here. HOA fees are just kind of a pain in the ass, in my opinion, but you know, here we are. So I would say that's a downside. HOA fees just kind of suck. And from what I've heard, ours are outrageously expensive. So like my boyfriend works with somebody who lives in a much nicer community with a lot larger houses, and they're not condos, and the HOA fee is way less. So that's something to be cautious of. Even houses can have HOA fees, but it just really depends on like area, kind of what you want. I will say there's a lot of older people in this area, which is, I think this would be great for somebody like them. I would say growing up in a condo, it kind of sucked. There were really kids around. A pro side to this one is there's a pool. It is a community pool. However, it's a lot stricter than apartments are as far as like rules, I guess. Just other friends that have apartment complexes, their pools are a lot more lax. Ours is very, very strict. There's literally a lady that sits down there and just monitors everybody, and she's not a lifeguard. She's just kind of there to poke into everybody's business. So that's something that's super, super annoying. Con to a condo is that the walls are very similar to an apartment. So like I can hear my neighbors if the music's loud, and I'm not saying like excessively loud, like they're fine, but I'm just saying if it's a little bit louder, like if they're in an argument or we're in an argument, either side can hear the other side yelling. Like, it's just not ideal. It's just so similar to an apartment. You hear literally everything. Like, I'm pretty sure they can hear my washer when it's going, which is so annoying for them. I'm sure, because I wash stuff all the time now that I'm home. But I would say that it's very, very similar in an apartment setting. Words, Gabrielle, get it together. I have my laptop over here with like all my notes. Another con would be lack of ability to change things. So like I said, with planting stuff, it can't be any gardens. If you have a deck, it has to be like a certain size and a certain color, and they can fine you if it's not. Any exterior looks, you cannot do anything to the exterior of the house to change things, or don't like super similar looking things. This is definitely not a home for you. So pet limitations, if you have a lot of pets or are a pet lover, negative. Definitely not a condo. I have a cat and a dog. That's fine because you can pretty much get away with having a pet unless it's badly trained and it just kind of pisses and shits everywhere. Then like if you don't replace the carpet, but like in an apartment you can get fined on stuff like that. Here it's the same thing, you can get fined, but they're not going through your house after a year or whatever it is. So here I would say it's a little bit easier to get away with pets, especially cats or like birds. I know some people have birds, so like I think that would be easy. But as far as dogs go, there's a size limitation. I'm pretty sure I'm not even allowed to have my dog in our association. No, I think I can, but I don't think I can go any bigger than mine. A couple other like about her size dogs in the neighborhood. Yeah, I can't have more than two pets to your unit. So technically I'm maxed out at MJ and Smarty. However, if I was to get like another dog or whatever, I'm pretty sure they throw the biggest fit in the world because I'd just get another German Shepherd or like a lab or something, like a bigger dog. The people just freak out at bigger dogs around here. The guy who like runs the thing, he's a dog that's pretty vicious, so like I understand. And MJ's a German Shepherd and his is a German Shepherd, and he's put dogs like in the hospital and stuff like that. But yeah, so I can understand their concern, but everyone freaks out with my dog, which I would say is really, really frustrating. So if you have pets, like bigger pets, if you have multiple pets, condos probably aren't the greatest thing. Also, MJ has nowhere to run. Like I can let her out on a leash in the backyard, and I have a pretty long like chain for her. Without her chain on, she knows like where to go and where to stay in. However, I can also get in trouble for that. So yeah, we normally take her to like our friend's house to run because he has 10 acres and another dog. So we normally go there to like really get her good exercise. Other than that, I just take her on walks. But like I said, people get weary of my big ol' doggo. You can go either way, which I guess is just with any house, is neighbors. You can have great neighbors and you can have awful neighbors. It can be really frustrating or really great. Like I've had some great neighbors in the past too. So it really depends, and you can't really control that. And especially in such tight quarters, it can heighten the bad and the good. But yeah, I guess the downsides that I already mentioned was the yard size. We don't have a yard. Like it's basically non-existent as far as yards go. So, and then something else that, I guess how it goes either way is if you don't want a big yard and you don't want a lot to take care of, this is awesome for you. Like this is great because you don't have to mow it. There's pretty much nothing to do unless you do like flowers and stuff in the front or in the back by your deck. But like if yards aren't your thing, then this is the greatest thing in the world for you, like 100%. And then location, that's something that can go either way. So I am super close to town. I'm close to the nature trails that we have in my area, and I can walk to them. They're almost in my backyard, so I think that's really cool. Downtown's like, I think I'm like a mile away, so if you're a runner or you like to go on long walks and stuff like that, like everything is super close, which is super convenient. My dog's like perched at the window because I have the windows open. But anywho, so I'm super close to downtown and like nature and stuff like that, so I think that is a huge pro to this place. A lot of other places can be like very close to town. I don't think I've really seen a whole lot of condos I feel like in my state that are super far away from stuff, granted I'm not necessarily looking for another condo, so that could also be a thing, but I would say, like, if you don't like being close to stuff, maybe look for a condo that's further away from things, but I feel like there's typically not that, unless I can be totally wrong because I haven't looked for it. But this is really close to town, which I think is great, and you're close to like a lot of things to do. Like, both grocery stores are 5 minutes in opposite directions. Like, I can go to either one for anything, which is great. But yeah, so I think that's kind of all I have for pros, cons, can go either way. But yeah, that's it. I guess if there's any more pros or cons that I can think of, maybe I'll do like a part 2, or if I think of anything else I can add it before I post this. But yeah, that's all I got. Have a great Friday weekend whenever this is seen.